morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our first segment this morning will begin with one of my favorite educators. A wise man once said that a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. And Mr. Terrance Sims Jr. does just that and more for his sixth grade students at Milwaukee College Prep who have gained national attention with their many creative projects. And it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Sims and one of his outstanding students, Miss Brooklyn Jones, to Our Issues. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I'm glad to have you here. And Mr. Sims, Milwaukee College Prep's mission is knowledge plus character, pave the road to college and beyond. So talk about what it means for you to have the responsibility of teaching tomorrow's leaders.
I love teaching, and I think it's really important, especially with the climate of America right now, that we have leaders inside of the classroom who are aware of issues and use that as an opportunity not just to teach academics, but to really impart into students how to be good human beings. So I'm just honored to have the opportunity every day.
Yeah, and you've been here before. That's why I said you're one of my favorite educators, because you have found a way to really tap into really what makes kids tick, what gets their attention, and be able to teach something all at the same time. When I try to talk hip, they just laugh, right? So, in Brooklyn, you know, because you were laughing before we started today, right? So you like school, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
So what is your favorite subject?
I like a lot of subjects. One of my favorite subjects would have to be math, because I find it kind of easy and it's not that hard for me.
That's awesome. And you are the sixth grade math teacher, right?
Well, in the past I've taught math.
Okay.
This year I'm actually teaching K-8 music.
All right. So you're just
different,
well-rounded.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Brooklyn, you've had a lot of exciting things happen lately. So we're going to find out from Mr. Sims what led to this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
Tell us about this Black History project that you guys did a couple of months ago.
So every year I do a project with my students called Representation Matters. And that's when we take our students in the classroom and have them recreate iconic photos or situations of African American leaders in our history. This year, my students came to me with the idea of doing the same project but with book covers. So yeah, the kids picked out different books that they wanted to read, and then we recreated the images with the students' faces.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these recreations that you did, and we'll also show the viewers at home a couple of them. They are awesome. So you did the autobiography of Malcolm X, which is one of the most influential autobiographies written by the late Alex Haley. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, the book is just powerful. And I think anybody who reads that book always takes something away. So my student, Brighton, he's reading the book, and my students dressed him up and modeled him in the picture. And it was just a really good time. I think he's about halfway through the book now. Wow. But he always comes in with something different to say. So I don't know, I like it, yeah.
Okay, so not only are they redoing the covers, they're actually reading these books.
Yeah. That was one of the requirements, like read the book,
And so name a couple other covers that you did.
Let's see, we did the autobiography of Malcolm X, Asada, The Skin I'm In, we did Becoming by Michelle Obama.
We'll actually show those, that's for sure, because the autobiography of Assata Shakur is one of the greatest, she's one of the greatest revolutionaries. So to have young people in the sixth grade being able to comprehend everything that's about, and Sharon G. Flake, author of The Skin I'm In, these are all awesome. So Brooklyn, you had the opportunity to recreate the cover of former First Lady Michelle Obama's Becoming. So tell us how you got prepared for that, and you know how you felt about doing it.
Okay, so Mr. Sims asked like what books we wanted to do, and specifically I chose Becoming because I felt like it would be a good opportunity to know who she is personally, because you usually see a lot of books about her, but I wanted to know how she actually led her legacy and things like that.
Yes, and so did you finish reading it yet?
No.
Not yet, huh? But are you inspired up to this point?
Yes.
Yes, and a lot of people are inspired by you because former First Lady Michelle Obama actually got wind of everything that you guys were doing, and you were contacted by her people.
Oh, yeah.
You got to tell us how that conversation went.
Well, actually, I didn't answer the phone. Yeah.
What did it say, FBI?
Well, I'm in the class, like, when the phone rings, I'm like, it could go to voicemail for now. And the principal ran down, said, I need to answer the phone. Like, hello? And then they said they were with Michelle Obama's book signing team. And that's when I just got instantly nervous, started shaking. The principal was crying next to me, so I'm just trying to keep it cool. Like, oh yeah, that'd be a really good experience, but I really want to jump off my seat and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they told me about it, and then we got in contact with Brooklyn's mom, and it kind of went from there. And Brooklyn had no idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was this video, Brooklyn, they recorded the surprise of telling you that you were going to meet Michelle Obama. What was that like?
Well, I didn't really know if it was like real or not because it surprised me a lot because all like the people I love and I know, they were all behind it and I really didn't even know that it was gonna happen.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what I noticed right away. She had a lot of her classmates sitting around her, and there was nothing but love and support when that message came across. There was no, why can't I meet her?
Right.
There was like, they were just as happy as you were, and that says a lot. So you were not only going to meet Michelle Obama, you were asked to speak at her book tour when it came to Milwaukee. So you got to tell us, what was this speech about?
Okay, so they asked me to tell who I was and what I wanted to become. I kind of remember it like it was yesterday. So I said, hi, my name is Brooklyn Jones. I go to Milwaukee College Prep. Then there was an applause. And then I said, you may have seen my book cover where I recreated becoming Michelle Obama, another applause. And then I said, and I am becoming a leader and an activist.
Oh, wow. Chill bump effect, right?
Oh, yeah.
As
absolutely.
a teacher.
Yeah.
Super proud.
Yeah.
And then, of course, your sister was there, and your mother and your father. So you guys finally got to the point where you get to meet Michelle Obama. So tell me what happened.
So I walked into the room. Well, the first time we went into the line where everybody was, I didn't know she was gonna be in the room. So then when my sister told me, I kind of got like surprised, and I didn't know what to do. So then when I first saw her, she was so pretty and so tall, and so I met her and I started crying because I didn't know what to think about.
Yeah.
So she kind of said to keep doing what I'm doing. She asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up and things like in that nature.
Yeah. So what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be an engineer.
Wow.
Because
math is easy for you?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, yes. And I think this is wonderful. So you got to take a picture with your family and Mr. Sims. So I have to ask you, I mean, I almost cried, you know, when I saw her video of meeting Michelle Obama, but what was it like for you?
Honestly, I don't think it's fully clicked yet that all this is happening. Like, when I look at her videos, I get like a little emotional, so I have to cut it off real quick.
Really?
But, yeah, it hasn't really clicked. I'm just really honored to be a part of this whole experience.
Yeah, I mean, it just says so much about you as an educator that you've opened the doors for your students to have opportunities like this. And this is something that I don't think Brooklyn's going to ever forget, right? It's not every day you meet a first lady. So one thing I wanted to point out is that this is not the first time that you've gained national attention with the projects that you do with your students. You've been featured on Good Morning America, not once, but twice, maybe more, I don't know. We had Savannah and Aaron here.
Yeah.
They were the stars of a song and a video titled Excellence First. And Michelle Obama noticed that too, right?
Yeah, she
Gosh.
did. I said we like friends now.
You were on the radar already. And then we can't forget about the famous Hidden Figure movie poster that you recreated that gained the attention of actress Taraji P. Henson. And that landed your students in Houston to take a tour of NASA. What's next?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. No, I really love just putting my students in places and where they can really shine and show who they are. So my students right now are working on independent projects around the city, just connecting what they're learning in the school building with the city of Milwaukee. So a couple of my students are covering like the Sherman Phoenix or what it means to have natural hair in the workplace. So they're working on research and interviewing different people, and we're going to put some videos and projects together centered around that. Wow. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, this is excellence.
Oh, thank you.
You know, really the epitome of excellence. And so with everything that you've experienced this year, I mean, you know, what's next for Brooklyn?
Like what Mr. Sims said, the Natural Hair Project, I'm in like that type of group, and I hope that like spreads a message that people should be able to wear their natural hair out wherever they go, things like that. And so I hope to look forward to like influence more people to do greater things.
Yes, and you are influencing people to do greater things just by all the things that you've achieved thus far. So you keep up the good work, and I'm going to be listening and looking because I know there's going to be more great things coming from not only your students, but Mr. Sims, you just keep raising the bar, and that's excellent. Is there anything else you wanted to tell us about or say before we wrap up this segment?
Thank you for having us here. I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm really happy that Brooklyn's able to kind of talk about her experiences, so I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I thank you both for being here. I just couldn't wait to hear what was it like to meet Michelle Obama, so now I know. Thank you both again for coming by. Terrance Sims is a 6th grade teacher at Milwaukee College Prep, and Brooklyn Jones is one of his outstanding students. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll observe National Poetry Month, and we'll meet a nationally recognized poet who will be using the power of her words to commemorate a historic event that happened in Milwaukee over 50 years ago. We'll talk to Dasha Kelly Hamilton right after this.